Hello everybody, Thomas Fleming here. The rain has stopped. It's a little cool. I probably can take my cap off. But I'm going to keep my jacket on just in case. Got my gloves in my pocket just in case. But we are going to go ahead and start a little hike. And there we go. Where it says start. I haven't been able to go hiking for a while because of the non-stop rain. And there is a good front, but it's north of us. If it stays up there, we'll stay dry. We're not dry. The ground's still a little wet, but it's not muddy. And I'm going to do a mile hike. You don't have to go with me the whole way, but some of you do like to see some of this outdoor scenery. So I'm going to include it in this hike a little bit more. All right, this is, as I'm recording this is Wednesday. I'm trying to get a little bit ahead because I have to fight uploads. I was panicking a little bit a few days ago because I was struggling to get a file uploaded for the next morning. And it wasn't until 9 o'clock that I was able to rest 9 p.m. for my 6 a.m. video. Okay, we are going to, where are we at? Okay, we're going to go to the Riverside Observation Tower. It's about a mile hike. Going across a little bridge here. A little bit of water in the creek. But it's not running with rapids like it was before because of the rain. Okay, getting back on track again. The election is over. Georgia and Arizona are both settled. A Democrat got in a Republican state. Yeah, I believe that like I believe any lie from Satan. But anyhow, we can't stop it. If the Bible tells us these things are going to happen, you're just going to have to accept it. This is not our home. Remember that. I had to just gingerly go by a yellow jacket nest. They get pretty ornery out here. They're the orneriest bug out here. They attack you just because they're in a bad mood. There are some people like that. Okay, so I think the Senate's stuck at, they've got 51. Would have been nice to have put it down the middle at 50 so they couldn't do anything, but not meant to be. I'm looking down here at my river. See, you've never been able to see this before like this because these trees were so full of leaves, you couldn't see anything. You couldn't see the river. And I'm looking at trash just floating down. Bottles, big green, looks like a 7-Up bottle. Water bottles, trash. It's why I'm not in any hurry to fish in this river. Catch and release is okay up to a point. Be better in a lake. Because that river is moving, you have to keep your boat where you're going to be or stay on the bank. And I'd much rather be on a lake and do catch and release. I'd much rather catch and eat the fish. Okay. So, our government is proceeding with their dastardly deeds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squirrels chasing each other. 7. That's fun. I don't think I could get them in the camera. Where are they? I think that's 2 families chasing each other or something. I don't know what it is. Okay, so just keep doing the things that you're supposed to do. They're trying to pass laws to make the whole world I'm looking in a tree stump. It's all hollow in there. That tree's probably due to come down any time. Of course, there's really nothing to it. It's dead anyway. All right. They're trying to pass laws to make it so that everybody's following their steps. They want to basically ban marriage so that anybody can marry anything and anyone. They're trying to destroy anything that's foundational for God. That's Satan's work. There's not much we can do about it anymore. You just follow what you know to be right. They're also trying to make it illegal to say, well, I don't want to serve this one individual. If you got a business, you should have the right to serve anybody you want. If you're bad in what your choices are, well, customers will deal with it and God will deal with it. But the government wants to pass laws. All the laws on the books did not help the Jews, the chosen people. They couldn't follow the laws. Like the Bible says, all the laws do is point out when you're breaking them. Jesus is the only one that can help you to recover from that law breaking. So the time is at hand to be prepared to do without. Now that the elections are finally over, all the things that they've been propping up to make the Democrats or the people in charge look good so they could continue lying to the people, there's no need for them anymore. From their point of view, they've achieved what they needed to achieve, and they essentially won. Yeah, we took the House, but it doesn't matter. They've maintained control of the Senate, the presidency, and they're continuing to dominate and take over the courts. This is going to be a final battle won in the courts. They're going to focus on the Supreme Court now, I think, because a lot of things keep getting to them and they keep losing, and they don't want that. Our pesky little Constitution is keeping them from doing what they want to do, so they're going to go after that. I have to stop and also look at the scenery too. I haven't been on this hike since all the leaves have been down. Well, most of them. There's still some leaves, but they're all dead. They just don't want to let go. One thing about these hiking paths, people design these. These are not paths that people walked on to go from their hut to the river or whatever. These aren't old ones in general. So they do things like wander around. I'm currently wandering away from the river. Or go over here and cross a bridge, and then go back to the river, and then go back in and cross another bridge. If you go all the way to the end at 6.5 miles, and it goes up into the hills. These are not mountains, so the little itty bitty hills. It goes up into the hills, goes to the top, turns around and comes back down the other side. Does that 3 times to make it more of an interesting hike. I have not been able to see this far into the woods. I was here before, for last winter before it had ended. I don't remember going on hikes in here like this. I think I stood to the other ones. I think I took to the other ones first, and I haven't been on this one at this time. I'm going across another bridge. There is a runoff creek here, but there's no water in it. If it were raining, there'd be water in it. I didn't bring my walking stick, so I got to watch how I step. So, is the price of gas going to go up? Probably. Are they going to be ready to switch to digital currency? Probably. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if there's a bunch of massive layoffs around Christmas. What better time to share the Christmas cheer than laying off people at Christmas? Wow, that's a big valley over there that I'm going to get around to it eventually. Haven't been able to see before. I mentioned this before when I drive around town even. You go on a street you travel on every day, and then you look into the trees that are barren, and you go, I didn't know there was a house there, or a big lake, or whatever else you can think of. Because the summer leaves cover it up. So sometimes, I know when I first got here, some 30 years ago, I started feeling closed in, not claustrophobic per se, but you couldn't see anything. At that time, I was still flying, and I'd take a small plane up, like a 172, and go flying over the area, trying to find my house. And in the summertime, that was impossible, just like it would be on the ground trying to find it with these trees. I stopped flying because my wife at the time wouldn't go with me anyplace, deadly afraid of being in a plane, which meant it was more expensive for me to fly a private plane than it would be to take a commercial flight somewhere. I never owned a plane. I always belonged to a club or something. And they would share the cost of the plane. It would be pretty low. You just had to have a time to get the plane. Since I couldn't use it to go anywhere, since my wife wouldn't go with me, I didn't need it for holidays, so that wasn't a problem. I just needed to be able to get out and fly occasionally. Another bridge. This whole video I'm just talking and walking, so if you don't want to do this, just like it anyway. It helps my channel. And there are people that like me when I do this, so we won't deny them. Climbing up out of a little gully. But yeah, I've never seen this much before over here. I'm going off my trail. That big valley there, you can't really see it. I am listening to, in the background, some distance away, if you can hear it, it's Wednesday. This is where they test the, I guess, civil defense or alert warning systems. You know, some of them have just sirens that blast. This one they actually talk, which is interesting. You can't hear from here, but if you're at the campsites, you can hear them just fine. Be prepared. If we're still here, we're going to hear those for real. Whether it's a direct attack or not, or the threat of one. Okay. There you go. There's the siren. It's a good, timely message. And it stopped, so we're good. If it didn't stop, I'd have to turn around and go back. You need to have a plan with your family, where to meet in case of a problem. If everybody's got transportation, it's behind me. If we're attacked, which is a good possibility we could be, we're provoking everybody in the world that we can. It's a possibility that they would knock out our communication. That would be the very first thing that an enemy would do, or we would do to somebody who's our enemy that we're fighting. We'd knock out their communication. World War II was won against the Japanese because we had broken their code and we knew what was going on and they didn't know that. We could also see better with our radar than they could. If you watch the movie Midway, that was a decisive sea battle. It's probably a little bit overplayed on the Hollywood side, but you know, the Japanese would launch, and I have nothing wrong with the Japanese of today. This is a war issue back then, so is it 12 o'clock? Anyhow, the internment camps and stuff that we did were bad, but that's off the topic. Back to the movie. They would launch their torpedo planes in hopes to find the fleet and sink the U.S. fleet. But then they'd get up there and they'd meet attacking planes that were coming after their carriers. And they couldn't do anything. So they had to go back and swap planes to their fighting planes. And then they come along the fleet and they don't have their torpedo boats in the air like they should. It's somewhat comical, but again, they probably took some liberties on that. I'm surprised I don't see any deer, though. When I was out the night before last trying to get that file uploaded, I came back late and I saw a half a dozen deer on the road. They stay hidden most of the time. And we're told not to try to feed them or be friends with them. They need to be afraid of man. Because in general, man should be feared. Okay. I've been sitting too much in this rain. I've been in my tent for 3 days. With just a minimal walk over to my video area, my swing. After I get this recorded, I'm going to go ahead and upload it. I'm going to be a couple of videos ahead because it's just too much to try to keep up with all this. Not having internet here. It's been overcast. If you've got satellite, you know that satellite blocks a lot of signal. All right, I got people coming back ahead of me, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this. I may do some bee footage at the end of this, but don't need a whole lot. This is just a general hike, just to be with God. You can get out and do this too. There's no reason. It doesn't matter the weather. It doesn't matter the temperature. Just go out and do it. Find a park near you, even a city park. Take a picnic lunch and go have a good time with God. Okay, till we meet in the skies. Okay, everyone, I'm just going to give you some front-looking video so you can see what I'm doing. There's the river down there. Not nice and blue, nice and brown, because we just had a lot of rain. But it's quite warm out. I've seen lots of squirrels, but I haven't seen anything else out here yet. I know along the river there are turtles. And when I was on the other side of the river at the other park, I had otters, so there's got to be otters around here. I saw a couple of muskrats and I saw a beaver, so that's the kind of critters that live out here, plus the deer. But the deer kind of stay out of your way until you walk up on where they're bedded down. They come out in the evening and the early morning. See, as you're hiking a trail, doesn't matter what park you're in, they're marked. We're on the white trail, obviously. I'm trying to see, I've come through here and seen deer in the past, when there was plenty of leaves on the trees. They could kind of hide out a little bit. And the other side is pretty much like this. This is what this part of Georgia looks like. It is a weekday. I haven't heard any gunshots, but we're still in hunting season. They will be for another couple of weeks, I guess 3 weeks. I think it ends on the 8th of January. I see the tower, so I'm getting close. Then I'll go sit down for a little bit and then turn around and walk back. There's another trail that goes off this at a 90-degree angle off into the woods that way and reconnects to the trail by my tent. But I'm already feeling like I want to sit down. So that's the problem doing this kind of stuff. You've got to keep doing it. The body is inherently lazy. Okay, so here's our tower. There's a picnic table down there. And you can actually walk down to close to the river. I'm still seeing more trash floating down in the river. This is not good. we pollute too much. See, we're on the river trail. Let me come down here, see how close I can get to the water. It's down quite a bit from the level that I'm at here, but sometimes a fisherman can walk down there. Yeah, I could go all the way down there if I needed to. But there's no place to sit. And out there, I don't know if you can see it, there's a piece of white floating, a bottle over there floating, another bottle over there floating. It's disgusting, people. Take care of your environment. I'm not going to sit down at this bench because it's still wet from all the rain, so I guess I'm going to go to the one underneath the tower. You can cart, I mean, this wasn't that long of a hike. You were with me pretty much the whole time. There we go. Well, the trail continues there. Just beyond the trees up there, there's another trail that takes off to the right. I'm not going to do that today. Okay, well, thank you for coming along. Like, subscribe, click the bell. You know the rules. And share this. Help me to keep the messages going out. I'm going to do one of these once in a while just because I have some people on the page that want to see these. And we talk about God and what's going on. Can't do that comfortably sometimes. There's too much bad stuff going on. So I figure if I mix it with nature, then we can get along better. Okay, blessings.